This is exactly what the Broncos needed. A much needed boost to the Broncos offense has come this Thursday. Today, there has been a player who's been injured and been out the last couple of games. And with the offense struggling as much as it has, there has been a need for someone to kind of swoop in and really give the Broncos a much needed kick. And I'm Sebastian from Broncos Digest. Welcome back, everybody. We've been kind of discussing over this week what have been like the problems, what have been the issues with the Broncos these past couple of weeks, mostly really being not being able to finish, especially offensively, but even defensively, avoiding, letting the other team get into field goal range to kick their field goals. But in the end, our offense has had the chance to score, to put us up 2 scores, or to at least put us up a score late in the game, and they have not come through. So we are very much in need of a boost, something to get everybody going, another playmaker, and we'll be talking about that here because we have some really good news. But make sure to subscribe, make sure to comment, make sure to like, all that good stuff. We're building an awesome community here, and we want to just see keep growing. We can do live streams, all that good stuff. But yeah, in the meantime, let's get into this because I'm really excited to talk about this news. So it was reported that Broncos tight end Evan Engram is expected, and actually he was back at practice today. He missed last week's practices and game with a back issue. Broncos getting healthier at a good time. That's honestly massive. I mean, listen, we all know that the Bengals defense isn't like something to be necessarily feared, not nearly in the same sense as the Chargers defense. But at the same time, we should not overestimate the Bengals. They've been in a lot of big games, even if they're without their star quarterback. They know what it takes to, and then they beat us obviously in the last game, so they know what it takes to beat us. Now, obviously, they're down a quarterback. They don't have the same defensive coordinator, and it's early in the season, so things are pretty chaotic. But the Broncos are going to need to take this game as seriously as possible, and just like they did with the last game of the week last year, or of the year, sorry, of last year when we beat up the backup Chiefs. But we shut them out. And it's not like we're facing backups this week, but we are facing a backup quarterback. We are facing a defense that's had quite a bit of struggles, and they got absolutely smoked by the Vikings last week. So it's, we can't let the Bengals have their get-back game against us when we are in a desperate need for a win. We cannot afford to fall to 1-3, especially with this kind of opportunity right in front of us. And Evan Engram is really kind of another weapon that Bo has a chance to really throw to, because it feels like tight ends not really it hasn't really been his strongest target, his strongest suit recently, but that's why you bring in Evan. They call him the Joker weapon. That's something he was really excited, a term he was really excited about using coming into Denver. That's how actually the sales pitch that we gave him, that Sean and co gave him, is that he's going to be more than just a tight end. Like he's going to be all over the place, maybe like a Taysom Hill type of player. But we'll see. Maybe they clearly have a lot of plans for him, but there's a reason why he chose the Broncos over the Chargers. And now we just got to see this come to fruition if they have any of those plans, because we weren't able to use it against the Chargers. He wasn't playing in that game, and he had to leave the Colts game with an injury. So now we got to see some of these plays come to fruition, because he was really excited about it. The players are really excited about it. He didn't do that much in the Titans game. So it's going to be interesting to see how things progress regarding what the plan is around Evan. Josh Buchalter from Heavy Sports had to say, Engram missed the Broncos' Week 3 loss to the Indianapolis Colts with a back injury that followed a calf injury that limited him in practice the week before. His return could provide a boost for a Broncos team that needs it as well as consistency. He was supposed to provide a dynamic presence in the middle of the field for Broncos quarterback Bo Nix. His injury has hindered their ability to further develop chemistry in practice. Engram's return is a positive turn for a Broncos team that has been beset by injuries to key players like him. I completely agree with this assessment that not being able to practice, especially during the regular season, not being available for Bo Nix has limited him quite a bit, especially when the offensive line has been up and down this season. But they played well last week for sure. But here is a picture of Evan practicing. Zach Stevens said that not only did he practice, but was flying around the field today. Good sign. So all signs pointing towards that he will be playing Monday night against the Bengals. Looks like that we'll be wearing our blue helmets along with the blue jerseys, which we're all really excited about. But it's good to see that Evan wasn't just doing like limited practice; he was fully practicing and all that good stuff. John Heath from Broncos Wire had to say the extra day of rest this week seems to have been good for Engram, as the 31-year-old tight end now appears to be trending towards playing on Monday after returning to practice. The Broncos are scheduled to practice again on Friday and Saturday before releasing a final injury report with game statuses for Monday. So obviously kind of wordful there, but overall what's important is he's practicing health as a healthy player, and he's flying around. He's making it look like that he's ready to go. And Bo probably is thrilled to have this. Now, the other part of the equation is Bo has to develop enough to the point, or trust his receivers enough, and trust his leg work, not to be able to get the ball to these receivers, especially downfield. He can make the short passes. He can make even some intermediate passes, but it's the long balls that Bo has really struggled with, and he has to get better on, because these are wide open guys. And I'm really hoping that they're doing a bit of focus on there. Unfortunately, Sean Payton does not seem to be holding Bo very accountable. I get you want to make sure that your guys are encouraged, they feel supported, all that good stuff in the system. But at the same time, if you don't acknowledge the mistakes that they're making and all the things that they're missing, it's not really a good sign for that. Like, Bo feels like he might not need to work on that it'll happen next time, hit next game. And he focuses on other things. And so in the end, we really need to see this deep ball completed, especially if so many of these plays are designed to go deep, or that's like we have wide open guys. Evan Engram, I don't know if he'll be a long, deep threat. He seems to be more of an intermediate to short route threat, which is exactly where Bo's strength is right now, which could be very good. And that's why I'm very excited about his return. It could be exactly what they're looking for, another dynamic to this offense that they've been sorely lacking. But the problem is 31 years old. There's a good chance that there's going to be more injury problems for Evan in the future, and we can't we really need to keep him as healthy as possible, considering he has an awesome range for catching. He's just very physical, very mobile, and he has a lot of experience, and he's a Pro Bowler for a reason. But one of the best abilities is availability, and being out a game and a half already 3 weeks into the season, not the best sign in the world. So obviously Evan, we're really glad that he looks as good as he does in practice, and they're all saying this. But at the same time, we can't just be satisfied with the fact that he's practicing. We have to see results on the field. We have to see this Joker role that they've been teasing, and Bo trusting his receivers and throwing it to them where they can catch it and not diving out, and being out of their reach. These guys, they're professionals. They can make amazing catches, but at the same time, it's Bo's job to make it easier on them, and especially if they're wide open in the field. It seems like he's understanding the language maybe of what Sean Payton wants him to do better, but that doesn't necessarily make him more equipped to It felt like a lot of what Bo was doing last year was understanding the simple stuff, and that maybe allowed him to play more in his area of comfort. But now that he's focusing on all of these complex terms and understanding Sean's system, you'll notice a lot of plays they'll be getting up to the ball really late and having to hurry up. Bo will have to try and get the center to hurry up to snap it, and it doesn't give Bo enough time to really analyze the defense. And so that's another thing that I'll be looking for in terms of the offense, is how can they make it easier on Bo in terms of maybe shortening the language a bit or getting the play in faster, all this stuff that seems to be really rushing things and not allowing for the fullest potential for Bo to really operate and just the rest of the offense to operate. Maybe people are saying let's change the play caller. We do have a really good potential play caller in the waiting right now, but it's with the quarterback's coach. But at the same time, it doesn't seem like Sean wants to relinquish those duties. He's been doing them for as long as I can remember him being a head coach, and he's been really good at it. He was really good at it with New Orleans. He's had some moments with Denver, but we keep coming up short, and it's time for the Broncos to get over this hump. Not just beat on teams that they're supposed to beat, which I hope they do on Monday, but also get big wins in close games, all that stuff. But none of that matters if we don't win on Monday. And I'm sure that they have their sights set on that particularly as well. So we're all looking forward to it. I want to ask you guys, how do you feel about Evan Ingram's return? Do you think that this will improve the offense? Do you think that it won't make any difference? Or, I mean, are you more worried about the Bo side of it, the Sean Payton side of it? Where are your concerns? Where are your hopes? Do you think that this is just early season struggles and that they'll be able to get over it just like they did last year? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. And then we'll have another game preview probably tomorrow or Saturday as we get ready for the game. But until then, we will see you in the next video.